Was it that you wanted to see which of your ads was performing the best? Assuming that you're running ads on multiple channels, or wait, no, hold on, I got it. You need video content, or was it blog content? No, you need to manage your social media profiles. Wait, do we even know what your customers want? Can we even know what your customers want? Wait, was it email marketing? Was it email automation? Either way, your open rates are too low. Or no, wait, was it click-through rates are too low? Second thought, maybe it's just that the emails aren't even getting delivered. I think you're starting to see the point. Marketing software means 100 different things to 100 different people. It's a catch-all. Oftentimes, it's a code word for, I don't necessarily know what I'm talking about here. It's like the economy or cryptocurrency or millennials. It's a blanket term that we throw around when we have a vague idea of what we're talking about, but we're not exactly certain. Until today. Today, we're going to take a few steps towards certainty when it comes to marketing software. So let's take it back, way back, to the beginning, which is a pretty good place to start, usually. Now, marketing has been around for years, and I'd love to start in 35 BC when the mosaics from Umbricius Saccharis that marketed his fish sauce so well that he became known across the Mediterranean, but we don't have the time to start there. What we're here to discuss is the rise of digital marketing and marketing software. So for our purposes, in the beginning, there was a computer. And it was massive, and it was terrifying, and it could perform basic math slightly better than your average fifth grader. Now, eventually it got smaller, more approachable, much cuter, and way more powerful. And then this guy stepped on the scene. This is Ray Tomlinson. And Ray looked at the archaic pen and paper, envelopes and stamps on his desk next to the futuristic computer screen, and he dreamt of a brighter tomorrow, brightened by the backlight on your smartphone or your laptop. Brightened by that tiny vibration in your pocket or the sound of a new notification. Brightened by electronic mail. And ever since Ray sent that first email, it was on. Now, millions of people have been working tirelessly to improve the computer, improve the way we talk to each other online, and to improve the way that we market. Well, and combined, they've been working to improve the way that we market things to one another online. Now, the 1990s saw the first use of the term digital marketing. We're talking about Web 1.0 here, the first clickable banner ads. And then in 1998, we've got Google, search engines, traffic, rankings, the ability to be found by anyone, which meant there were ways to make yourself more visible to the people who were looking, aka digital marketing. And the use of the internet developed, so did the idea of digital marketing, and from there, marketing software. Then you've got social media entering the game, and now all of a sudden anyone can build a following. They can build an audience. Businesses can connect with individuals in real time without having to be anywhere near them. They can drive traffic to their website, promote themselves, offer discounts, share helpful content, and figure out who their target audience is. Now, all of this, of course, is marketing. Fast forward a few more years, and we start to see a bit of a situation brew. I mean, take a look at this. In August of 2011, this is what we were dealing with. No, not dogs. But if each dog represented an individual marketing software company, it's pretty reasonable. Honestly, it's quite adorable. There's approximately 150 brands of what you might call marketing software. Now, fast forward a few more years, and this is 2016. Over 3,000 brands. In 5 years, the landscape grew 20-fold. And now we've got all these categories. We've got advertising, social media, CRO, SEO, email marketing, email automation, forms, landing pages, customer support, attribution, and on and on. Now, all of these things can be considered marketing software. And each of these categories, has an impact on the customer experience. They make it easier for your customers to find you, to interact with you, to learn about you, buy from you, and hopefully tell everyone they know about you and how fantastic their experience was with you. But we're not done yet. Hold on to your hats. Here's last year. 8,000. That's how many marketing software tools exist today. It's as if every person in this stadium represents an individual marketing software company. How do we even begin to sort through this? 8,000. I think we need some help. Tim? Tim, are you there, Tim?
Thousand. You're not. We often talk about marketing software as if it's a superhero that we expect to swing in and fix everything. One single software that will achieve all our marketing goals with the flip of a switch. The truth is, that's a myth. The myth of the all-in-one. There is no single all-in-one software solution that will solve all your marketing problems and grow your business instantly. What will help is a marketing stack. And the good news is you already have a marketing stack. It's the tools you already use to create the best experience possible for your customers. Maybe it's Facebook for ads, Shopify for your store, or Google Analytics for your reporting. A marketing stack is the group of software tools that you use to market to your customers across multiple channels. Your business is different from every other business in a good way. You have your own specific goals for your business. There are 8,000 marketing tools because every business needs different tools to get the results they desire. We can all agree that you need marketing software tools to run your business. No question about it. But how do you choose the right tools and when? Start by mapping out your marketing goals. Maybe you want to increase traffic to your website, or gain social media followers, improve conversion rates, grow your email list. There are tools out there that can help with each of these goals. Research the various tools that cater to your goals. Look at software review sites to learn the pros and cons of different tools directly from the fellow business owners that use them. Talk to the business owners you know and trust about the tools they use and the ones they would recommend. Seek out software tools that connect easily to the ones that you're already using. The last thing you want is for your marketing stack to take more of your time and energy. Effective marketing stacks save you time. A great point to add or modify tools in your stack is when you want to fill in a gap in your customer experience. You can find these gaps by pretending you're a customer of your own business. You can also keep an eye out for times when your customers themselves alert you to these moments of frustration. Another good time to add or modify tools in your marketing stack is when you need to improve progress towards your marketing goals. For example, maybe you want more product reviews on your website. You can find software that reminds customers to write a review after they buy your product. Another great time to evaluate your marketing stack is when you're spending a lot of time doing something manually. Maybe you're spending hours every week compiling a spreadsheet that measures how many sales your digital ads are driving. You can find software that does this for you and frees up your time for other tasks. Marketing software tools deliver the most value when you've defined goals that guide their usage. Choose the tools that will help you achieve your marketing goals. Don't worry about all 8,000 marketing software tools out there today. Focus on the ones that help you achieve your marketing goals and help you grow your business.
Okay. I feel a little better. Thank you, Tim. That guy just has a way of putting me at ease. Right. Okay. So it's not about finding the perfect software that solves all of your problems forever because that doesn't exist. Now, Tim mentioned that we need to figure out our marketing goals, not general goals like I want more leads, I want more customers, I want to make X amount of money. I mean, who wouldn't want those things? I think we need to go a little further. Don't take it from me. Take it from Steve Rosenbaum. Now, Steve has 30 years of marketing and sales experience, and he runs a successful marketing agency called Flawless Follow-Up, where he helps businesses improve their marketing processes, oftentimes by using software. Steve sat down with ActiveCampaign's customer marketing manager, Sin, and he had this to say about software.
That we can act upon, and doing it in a way that we can measure those results. If you can measure it, you can improve it. All right. And so ActiveCampaign allows me to get results and measure those results so I can always improve it.
Okay, so we need to get specific. We have to be able to measure the goal. Otherwise it's just a wish. Good. Now we're aiming at something. And as we know, there are tools that can help with, well, all of it. So now we need to narrow down the selection process to what you actually need. You could start here. What's working for you right now? How can you build off that? Now, it's much easier, faster, and more effective to build from something that you already know and you already know works, rather than starting from scratch and trying to learn and implement something completely new that you don't even know is going to work. So look for opportunities to build on or fill in gaps with your existing processes. You want to choose a tool that can address the specific challenges you're facing within your existing processes. And most importantly, you want to make sure that you'll be able to learn how to use the tool that you choose. Now, that could be through your own research, through training, through onboarding. Let's take a look at this issue a little more in depth with James Costello. James is the email copywriter at Skin Research Institute, a skincare product company based out of Los Angeles, California. Now, Skin Research Institute uses marketing software tools to communicate with their audience, understand their customers, and then take action on key insights to provide a better customer experience, leading to, you guessed it, business growth. Now, James sat down with ActiveCampaign's Chief Customer Officer, Duda. Let's take a listen to a bit of that conversation.
There are businesses out there that are thinking, we know we're in trouble, something's not working, we don't know what's not working. And I have two platforms that I'm considering, and ActiveCampaign, to be honest, it's kind of expensive. You know, like, I just want to first make money, and then later, you know, I'll switch over to that expensive one if it's really better. You know, let me just start here. And, you know, the advice I would actually give to the person in that situation, because they don't have the inside knowledge of knowing both, let's just say Mailchimp and ActiveCampaign. I would say the most important thing, and the reason why to choose ActiveCampaign, is specifically because you do have an expert to guide you, and personal customer service is almost something of my generation or generation before, and it's not really something that's offered in the marketplace anymore. And you know, if there's someone young, they don't even know the value of, you know, flying with an expert. And I would rather have taken inferior software and have the expert guidance. I mean, I can get ActiveCampaign on the phone right now. No matter how much we paid to Mailchimp, there is no call-in feature. And especially if your email program isn't doing what you want it to, that's when you need the most help. And it's going to pay for itself many-fold over by setting it up right. And, you know, if you're thinking, oh, it might be too expensive to try that, you actually have to think about it the opposite way. It's too expensive not to try that.
All right, now we're really getting somewhere. We've got our goals, we figured out what we need to measure, and we're starting to figure out how to identify and solve for the hangups that might hold us back from achieving those goals. As James said, the ability to learn how to use the software is critical, but there are other factors to consider when choosing the right tool for your business as well. Now, as Tim pointed out at the top, what are other businesses using? You know, what are they recommending? Consulting your colleagues about the tools that they use, it's a great way to learn about new software that might help you. And another way to narrow down what you're looking for is to ask yourself a few more questions. Which of your processes currently takes up the most time? What's the most challenging part of your process right now? If you were a customer for your business, what does the experience look like? Where does it work? Where does it break down? And how do you know when to start solving these problems with software? When do you make the jump? If you've already got some tools in your marketing stack, how will this new one fit in? How does that even work? Let's take a listen to Mo Hussein, co-founder and director of Future London Academy, an education management company based out of the UK. Now, Future London Academy focuses on educating and inspiring people around the world to achieve more with their educational programs. They've used quite a few marketing software tools, and Mo's story with Sin offers some additional insight into how this process looks in action.
So just before pandemic happened, I went full time into the business. So in that time, it was knowing all the tools that were out there that I was using from a sales and advertising professional. And it was like, well, there's Salesforce out there. There's all these other free tools like Google and this, that, and the other. It was about utilizing and being efficient on those tools that were essentially free. So Google's tools helped a lot. And what I mean by that, well, even before Google, it was Mr. Microsoft Excel. So everything was in Excel. So different tabs. The way the website was built at the time was someone would fill in a form and that information would come to my email. And then I would, filter that into another spreadsheet. So there was no automations. It was still all manual, everything coming into my email and then filtering it into Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel, eventually going on to Google Sheets. It was okay at the time because it was just, as I said, a passion project, a side thing that after work a couple of hours or in the weekend I'd be working on it. But eventually it got to the point where, right, we don't even have a newsletter. How the hell do we mass communicate to all these people that have just shown interest or filled in the contact form? And when it's 1 or 2 people or 10 people, it's fine. But when you start growing and it becomes 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, now it's like at 70,000 odd people in the list. It's like, okay, what do you do? And you're like, okay, Campaign Monitor is more for startups. It's helping us, great. And then every time we do like a larger send, you'd have to pay per 1,000 sends or something like that, which was, again, comfortable. Then once we started to grow and our events became more and more people started to know about them, we trialed HubSpot. And HubSpot we trialed because, again, a friend recommended it to us, but it was at a very heavily discounted price because we were recommended and we were part of the WeWork office space network. So they had to deal with them as well. So we were like, oh, amazing. This is some crazy discount. Let's go for it. And it had all the features, but it slowly became the cost starts to rise once the free or the discounted element goes, and then you're like, well, I only got it to use that feature. Now I have to pay a crazy amount for that feature, and I'm like, I'm still a small business. Am I using that feature enough? And because you've done these jobs manually, you're like, yeah, I can always go back to my spreadsheet world and start manually emailing people or using other tools to send emails. And then you're like, yeah, but I'm used to this automation world now. It will be a bit backwards to go back to doing that.
All right. There are a few things to highlight here. Did you notice how Mo talked about doing things manually until they reached a point where it just wasn't sustainable anymore? That's a surefire sign that it's time to look for a tool that can help you out and save you some time. As for looking for software, Mo mentioned a few things: research, consulting colleagues, cost, and then the ability to build and scale. So finding a tool that can grow with you is an important piece of the puzzle. But what does that really mean? And what does looking for the ability to scale in a piece of software actually look like in practice? I wanted to know too. So I sat down with Finch Grace. Now, Finch is a small business owner of an indie nail polish shop called Scofflaw Varnish. Finch has been running a successful business alongside her 9-to-5 career for almost a decade. Scofflaw has been through a few different phases, each with their own goals, challenges, and pieces of marketing software. Finch uses ActiveCampaign for Scofflaw, and full disclosure, she works for ActiveCampaign as a product marketing manager. But she's here to talk about how you can go about selecting the piece of marketing software that helps you provide the best possible customer experience and grows your business. Let's see what Finch has to say.
So several years ago, probably like 8 or 9 at this point, I really got into painting my nails. I just found it to be a very relaxing kind of self-care little thing to do. And I discovered as I got further into it that there were people out there who were making their own like indie nail polish. And it was really cool stuff that was unlike anything that you could get in the store. So I got really into buying indie nail polish from all these, little independent makers. And then I started to wonder, well, I kind of need an artistic outlet. I wonder if I could do this myself. So I started to explore and test and figure out the ins and outs. And it turned out that like the stuff I was coming up with was pretty cool. At least I thought it was. And I was like, well, I wonder if other people will think that this is pretty cool. So I did a lot of research and started to work towards opening up a shop. Probably took me about 8 months to a year from when I decided to open up a shop to when I actually opened up the shop. And I realized it was going to be more of a hobby and not just let's see if other people are into this, but could be like, have some legs to it. When I opened up my shop, and I think I had about 400 bottles in stock. So not a ton, but definitely not nothing. I sold out the entire stock within 10 minutes. And I just remember sitting there, and at the time I was using Etsy. It was probably the most popular platform to use at the time. Just hitting refresh and seeing the numbers of my stock deplete and the sold out button popping up one after another. And just that feeling of like, oh my gosh, I have something here. As soon as I sold out, I started getting emails or messages into my Etsy account at the time. And they were like, I missed out. Oh, it's already sold out. Or have you opened up the shop yet? I'm not seeing anything available. Like I probably got like 24 emails within like the first 30 minutes of like, do you have a mailing list? I did not have a mailing list. I honestly had never even considered email marketing or that was something I was going to need to do. So just realizing like they were asking me to provide them information because they were really interested and I had no way to provide them that information that they could reliably see.
You brought up the point there, like what tools could you have used to kind of save time or thought about, or even like you said, having a mailing list at the time of launch. So I just want to get back to that first piece of software that you incorporated into Scofflaw. Was it an email marketing tool?
Yes, I used Mailchimp.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you, obviously people had asked you if you had a mailing list. So that kind of seems like that's where the idea came from, but how did you eventually decide upon using Mailchimp?
Well, honestly, simply because I'd heard of it. I didn't even explore other options at the time. I kind of reached out because there were Facebook groups for other nail polish makers. And I was like, so what, email marketing software do you guys use? And, Mailchimp kept on popping up. And social proof is huge.
Right.
People are way more likely to purchase something because someone they know has recommended it than they are just because they see like an advertisement. So it was purely just that social, thumbs up from other small business owners. And I was like, okay, I guess Mailchimp it is. Here we go.
Okay, so are you evaluating then each of these different e-commerce platforms? You know, you just mentioned a bunch of different things like coding, ease of use, you know, all of these different processes. Are you did you have like a sheet that you were sort of evaluating them all from, or just kind of keeping them straight in your head? How did that process look?
Well, I first of all read a bunch of reviews online,
Right.
like which are the best. I leaned into social proof again, and I kind of did narrow it down to Shopify and Big Cartel, which is why those are two that popped to the top of my mind. And I trialed both of them.
Okay.
And that's ultimately what made my decision. I trialed them, and Shopify was the one that just, I was like, this is it. This is the one that solves my needs. I'll be able to do more with less time, because I also, not just then, not just now, but also then, I had a 9 to 5 career. I still have a 9 to 5 career. The time that I can dedicate to scofflaw is only so much. So, and Shopify made it really easy. At one point, yeah, all in one did make sense. But the thing is, as I learned, to my detriment there for, a couple of years, is customers' expectations really are changing. Even now more than ever, with the way, with COVID-19 and, how online shopping has become, where it's not enough to just, have your little store, have your little mailing list, and they all kind of live independently of each other. No, customers expect you to meet them where they are online, and they expect you to understand things about them. They want you to be able to be just as savvy as they are digitally, which can be really hard. But the all-in-one doesn't let you do that.
Right.
That's why being able to use like the tool that's like best at what it does is, so important. And especially like as I move forward and I continue to pivot my business, I won't be looking at like, okay, what is going to kind of maybe sort of handle all these things. It's going to be understanding, this is where my customers live online. This is how they shop now. This is what they care about now. Here are the best tools to reach them, to engage with them, to meet their needs. And then it's like, how do I connect them together so that when I'm doing my email marketing, I have that information from these other integrations, these, the channels that they're on, that I can then email them, and it's not just this all-in-one email blast or even just basic segmentation. It's like, no, this customer prefers this kind of content, and they want to get it generally, apparently, at 8 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
And I know because of what they've done over here that this is the favorite kind of product of mine that they're interested in. So I'm going to make sure that that's highlighted in the email that they get. And that's just like one use case, but that's huge. Right. That's what's going to that's what resonates with customers today. Is are you bringing them the things that they care about, or are you making them do all the legwork, to even try to find the information they want from you? Because if they have to, there's going to be like a countless other businesses out there that will make it easier for them.
Right. So you don't want to sacrifice their experience for your convenience, basically.
That is a great way to put it.
Oh, thank you. That wasn't bad.
Without a doubt. And, something I didn't realize too in my early days was, customer experience doesn't end the moment you make a sale. You make the sale, boom, you're done, on to the next. Because what's really going to grow your business, what's really going to give you the staying power, are not just repeat customers, but loyal customers. When you create like those loyal customers, when you create that like amazing experience for customers, from the first time they come across you, through the sale, past that, where you're thanking them, you're providing them more, engaging, relevant content. You know, you're keeping them in the loop. You're making them feel, you know, that they are truly part of, you know, your brand, your business.
Right.
That pays amazing dividends, because then they're doing a lot of work for you. They're telling their friends about you. They're bringing more customers into, you know, your sphere. And, you know, that's invaluable. You know, that loyalty where you ultimately want to get to, the customer advocates, you cannot do that unless you have that amazing customer experience provided from start to finish. And when you do, it just makes everything run so much smoother, and your customers are just so much happier, and you get a lot less emails asking you, well, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? Can
Right.
you do this? Can you do that? Because you're already understanding their needs. You're already connected.
Could you tell me about an automation that you're currently using in ActiveCampaign? And you don't have to give away your secret sauce for sure, but I would love to hear about an automation that you're using to solve for a use case, sort of like something that you maybe just outlined. What's really working for you?
Well, one of the automations that has been huge for me since I've moved over to ActiveCampaign is the abandoned carts automation. And, you know, going back to the blog, I, for a long time, never had an abandoned cart automation. And for those who don't know, an abandoned cart automation, it basically sends a reminder to someone that leaves something in their shopping cart. You know, they click, they put the shopping carts, the dog needs to go out, they forget about your product, and you never hear from them again. And I remember reading in the blog, like, abandoned, you know, automated abandoned shopping carts emails, it can like recover like up to 10% of your revenue. You know, 10% of those abandoned carts can be recovered. And I'm like, get out of here, come on, I'll give it a try. And actually, you know, everybody's experience is completely different, so don't use mine as like, you know, the water line, but I actually recover over 10% of my abandoned carts. So yes, love that abandoned cart automation.
And that's through the Shopify integration, right? They leave something in the Shopify store and that triggers the email to go out from ActiveCampaign?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. Along the same lines, what is next for you in terms of automation? Do you have something that you're sort of trying to solve for? Is there an automation that you would like to incorporate that maybe you just haven't gotten around to yet, or what's sort of what's on the wish list?
Yeah, well, you know, as I become, you know, a more sophisticated user of automations, and, you know, ActiveCampaign does make it really easy because we have this amazing marketplace that's full of recipes, so I can automate things I didn't really even think of. You know, I've kind of moved beyond, you know, those first initial automations, certainly. And one thing to bring up really quickly is all these automations I've put into place, whether it's abandoned cart or follow-up emails or drip campaigns, I spend a lot less time on my marketing now, yet since starting ActiveCampaign, these have been my most successful years running Scofflaw, like my highest revenue.
Well, congratulations on that. That's,
thank you.
Like you said, sell more with less. That's
Exactly.
that's the dream right there.
So, you know, now I do have a bit more time to focus instead of just doing the basics. Now that I have a little bit more time back that I can like dig in deeper, the sort of automations that I'm looking for and wanting to, you know, be able to do more with are being able to more easily segment off of like Shopify data. Like I want to be able to look at, you know, purchase states or purchase amount, you know, going back to like how engaged are they? Are these like are these customers that used to be really engaged and suddenly there's a drop off where they never really engaged, or these like my top customers, my most loyal, and being able to like, create even more personalized, hyper segmentation, we'll say, where it's not just a segment, it's a one-to-one segmentation personal experience. So I want to just be able to kind of dive in deeper and make that experience even more tailored based on how they're acting in my Shopify store.
If you had to give a piece of advice to a new business owner or an existing business owner that's evaluating, a piece of marketing software, what is the one thing that you would tell them to keep in mind?
Before you choose your software, you have to take the time to understand your customers. You have to know where they are, how they prefer to get their information, and what they care about, because that's going to give you the knowledge that you need when selecting a platform. You'll know, like, I need to be able to do X, Y, and Z. I am going to need to use, this application, this integration, this is the tech stack that I want to create. And that way, when you're like looking at these different, platform providers, you can really quickly be like, okay, yes, they can do this one thing for me, but there's 5 things that I really need that they're not going to do all that great.
Right.
Ultimately, you're not looking for the ultimate holy grail solution that's going to solve everything for you, because that does not exist. It doesn't exist much elsewhere in life.
Right.
So it doesn't exist in your software either. So you're going to want something that's going to let you use the tools that you already value.
Yep.
And like I said, you're going to know the tools that are going to be the most valuable to you by knowing which tools let you connect best with your customers. And connecting best with your customers means taking the time to understand them.
Well, that I can't think of a better way to end this thing than that. So, Finch, been an absolute pleasure talking with you. Good to see you as always, even though we don't get to see each other in the office anymore. Hopefully that will change soon. But again, thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your story. This has been great.
Well, thank you again, and I'll talk to you later.
Okay, we learned a lot here. We learned there are a massive number of marketing software tools available. We learned why there isn't a silver bullet, some end-all, be-all in one software tool for any business. We've seen how important it is to start with your goals, your process, and most importantly, your customers before you start signing contracts. We've seen how valuable it is to measure your marketing, how helpful it is to have hands-on training or access to experts, and we've learned when it's time to address your problems with a software tool. And now we're going to see how you can get started today. So Finch mentioned an automation that she's currently using, and she also mentioned an automation that she would like to use. Lucky for Finch, and for us, I know a guy who can help us out with that. His name is Cody Lindley, and he manages the ActiveCampaign Marketplace. The ActiveCampaign Marketplace contains over 500 automation recipes or frameworks that you can import into your account in just a few clicks, and then you can start automating those processes in minutes. So we're going to take a look at these automation recipes in a segment that we like to call Automate That. All right, and I am here with the ActiveCampaign Marketplace maven, aka manager, aka Mr. Cody Lindley, the recipe wizard himself, for a new installment of Automate That, the ActiveCampaign recipe show. Cody, good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you too, Ernie. Very excited.
As you can see here, we are very excited to show you what Cody has been cooking up in the ActiveCampaign Marketplace with the automation recipes of the week, a special installment. Cody, I was speaking with Finch earlier today about scofflaw. And she was letting me know about an automation that she's using with her business that is really working for her, and then one automation that she was looking to incorporate in her business that she thinks would be working really well for her. So let's kind of get into these and show everyone how you might actually accomplish both of these things by using ActiveCampaign automation.
I'd love that.
All right. So without further ado, first recipe reveal, and this is the one that Finch had mentioned she was using. Cody, what are we looking at here?
We're looking at the abandoned cart reminder. As you can see to the right, that image, it's a simple yet powerful automation where someone's going to abandon a cart. We're going to wait. That wait step's customizable. We see if they recovered the cart, and if they didn't, we're going to send them a little email asking them, hey, don't forget about this. Over here on the back of the baseball stats, we got industry, e-commerce, and retail. Though now if you have a digital storefront at all, it's almost an innie right now with how so many businesses have pivoted to digital. Features are native abandoned cart functionality and email. Use case, sales, experience level, growth. Doesn't mean it's difficult to set up. You just need to also set up your e-commerce integration. So we wanted to denote that. And stage of the customer journey, convert and close.
Love it. Yes, as you can see here in this image of the actual automation, it's not too big, not too complicated at all. And Finch had let us know that it had some really significant results for scofflaw. And I actually read a stat that in 2017, approximately 77% of carts were abandoned on e-commerce platforms. That's three-fourths. That's over three-fourths. If you have an 8-slice pizza, that's 6 slices. That's ridiculous. All right. So, I mean, obviously we get to win back some lost sales, but what other benefits do we get from the abandoned cart automation?
Of course. Ernie, as you just said, we cannot overstate. You'll just win back those lost sales by just you don't have to do a crazy offer. You don't have to say, buy it right now or it won't be there. A lot of times you just have to do a gentle reminder and you'll see significant increases. Also, some more holistic things that we like to look at with this is you can track your win back rate with your current marketing efforts. You can, A/B test this. Look at, should it be a more transactional email? Should it follow your marketing voice that they might be seeing through your other emails? And of course, the last part here is gain valuable data on your sales process and how many contacts abandoned a cart. As we've shown, the statistics might be high. Maybe there's information that they're having to go back to the product page for, and then they never come back. Maybe we can start pulling that in. The data you'll get here when you start digitally listening to your customers is going to be huge.
Yes, I love those, the second and the third point. Obviously, there's a lot to love with the first point too. Who doesn't love more sales, more customers? But as we've talked about throughout this episode, working across your marketing software and really listening and having them all work in concert with each other to create that seamless experience, taking information from one platform, getting it into another one where you can use it and send out communications is just super valuable. And you really can't overstate any of these, the importance of any of these points. So if we're going to the automation store and we've got our cart, pun intended, loaded up, what ingredients are we putting in here?
We're just grabbing 4 simple things: an abandoned cart trigger, or if you're not using our Shopify or WooCommerce integration, you can use a site tracking to track a checkout page or look at a third party like Zapier. So that may affect your trigger here. But for our example, abandoned cart trigger, customizable wait step for as long as you want, an if else action, checking for if that cart has been abandoned. Again, if you're not using Shopify or WooCommerce, you can use the actual order complete page URL. That's another one a lot of people like to use. And then the send email action, which is the, hey, you forgot this.
Yeah, I mean, four items here that is going to, potentially result in hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in won back customers. Okay, so we get all the ingredients home. We've got them out on the counter. We're getting ready to start cooking. Mise en place. What do we got to do before we start?
Yeah, so first and foremost, you want to set up whatever your e-commerce integration is and how that data flow is before we get into the automation recipe itself. One other little tip here: familiarize yourself with the Shopify campaign block. It is a Shopify block that we have in automations where you can show off some products from a collection. It's huge. It's just a little tip I want to drop in here if you are using Shopify. And then 3, kind of that process before paper. Determine how long you want to wait before reaching out about the abandoned cart, because then you'll kind of have that great idea of we really want to give them a couple hours, or we want to give them a day, and then gently remind them.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, that's going to differ from business to business, from industry to industry. You know, think about it from your customer's perspective, what makes the most sense for them. You know, maybe it is a couple of hours, maybe it's a couple of days, or you could try both and see which one works better. Okay, so we've got it all assembled here, got all of our ducks in a row, and take us through the journey. What are we looking at?
Yeah, so we're going to enter the automation when a contact abandons the cart. Then we're going to wait for a day. Again, that's just an example. Feel free to adjust that to what you want. We're going to see, hey, did they recover the cart? If so, we're not going to send anything. That's great. But if they haven't, we're going to send that abandoned cart reminder and just either do an offer, do however you want, or just say, hey, you forgot these.
Hey, Cody.
And then, of course, obviously, if you want to build out more messaging, so sorry, Ernie, we could have other messages and other if-else actions built out. I just wanted to point out the customization of this. Once it's in your account, like all automation recipes, the record is yours. Do with it what you will. I'm sorry, Ernie, what did I cut you? Was that what you were going to say?
That was the question I was going to ask. It was almost as if you were in my brain. That was wild. Well done. Okay, so that takes care of the abandoned cart recipe. Moving into that second use case, Finch had mentioned that she wanted to start doing more with segmentation and personalization, specifically by gathering information about which pages or which interests her customers or potential customers have. Do we have anything in the marketplace that might achieve that goal?
Oh, we sure do. I think we can help Finch and some others out. Next slide, please, Ernie.
All right, Cody, what are we looking at?
So we're looking at the targeted product interest follow-up. So what this automation does is when we know someone is tagged interested in a product, you can see our example tag up there, product one. You can do it with specific products if you only offer a few things, or categories if you're like an instrument shop. Guitars would be one. The industry, as we look over here at the back of the baseball card stats, again, e-commerce, retail, but truly could be any, especially with so many digital businesses nowadays. Features, email, it's going to be a drip series with information about the product they've expressed interest in. Goals, which we'll go over in a second, and tagging, which is going to be that trigger. The use case is going to be with sales. Experience level starter, we actually don't 100% need an integration with this, so you can get it up and running. And stage of the customer journey, convert and close.
So one thing I love that you said here was that, you know, the industry, e-commerce, retail, we have listed here, but that's not to say that every other industry could benefit from this. You know, this is going to be a way, again, to digitally listen to what your customers, not what they're saying, but what they're doing, right? You're tracking their behavior, their actions, the pages that they're looking at, or the things that they're clicking on in your website, and then using that to tag them as interested in particular areas of your business. So yeah, definitely don't have to be an e-commerce business to find some value in this one. And what other benefits are we going to get here?
Yeah, so one of the big benefits, we're going to kind of hit on this in both the first 2 points, is you're going to be following up your contacts with information you know they want, which is great. We're going to talk about another recipe this works great with in tandem, but it's the one that identifies and puts the tag on there. Our example just uses site tracking. So if you go to a certain page enough, you're clearly considering it. Let's tell you about the thing you're making a decision on. Second, we're going to increase sales. It goes hand in hand with that first place by marketing the product your contact wants. If I sold 5 things and you're only interested in one, if I talk about all 5, that's a lot of wasted energy and effort on both. But if I talk about the one I know you want, we're much more likely to make a deal. And of course, it can't be understated. Run a dedicated, informative email drip. This is a great way. There's so many different contents. Maybe you offer a coupon, maybe you have a blog post, some customer testimony. This is just giving really good information to your people. Not everything has to be a hard CTA in every email. You're just providing that information to let them make the informed choice.
Right. And you know, depending on your business, depending on your use case or where your customers are at, what your sales cycle looks like, you know, this information might not be particularly actionable in the immediate term, but you are just getting information about what they're interested in, or you're getting information about your most popular products, your most popular service offerings. And you can use that information to, you know, adjust your ad spend, adjust your messaging, or even, you know, your overall process in terms of what you are pushing or marketing. And another thing here that I just love is, you know, again, working across the different pieces of marketing software, whether it's your website provider, your e-commerce store, you know, whatever the case may be, listening to what people are looking at. I know that sounds counterintuitive, listening to what people are looking at, but really it is, you know, taking advantage of the the data that you have access to and then using it to your benefit. So again, we're at the automation store. What's going in the cart here?
So we've stocked up and saved. Again, just 4 different things, but with wait steps and send email action, we got a couple. One is a tagged added trigger. Next, we're going to have 6 wait steps. Then we're going to have 5 send email actions and 1 goal step.
All right, a baker's dozen of automation features here. Little buy one, get one action. We get them all home, got them on the counter in the kitchen. We're ready to go. Mise en place.
Ready to go. So again, here's a link in product interest tagging is the automation recipe we recommend. It does, hey, have they visited this website, which is the product page? Have they visited a certain amount of times? Let's tag them as interested. It's a great way to just build that out for different products you have, different areas of your site. It can let you know if someone might need support. It's really helpful with a lot of things. But if you already use a different system, we're talking about different softwares today, and that via Zapier or via a developer on your team already is being encoded in a custom field or a tag, go ahead and don't do that double work. Just set that up as the way to figure out when people are interested. So again, a bit of in the platform, a bit of out of the platform, depending on how you do it, but get that set up. Set up the Shopify or e-commerce integration. While not necessarily needed, the goal step is so much more effective. It'll be checking for a purchase made. If we don't have to look for a site page of checkout completed, if we can just say, we know that it was a recorded purchase, that goal will work so much better. And then, of course, last but not least, determine the offers and content you want in the emails. Again, we have some message names we're going to see here in just a second, but those are examples that we put together. You might want to focus solely on blog posts, thought leadership, what experts are saying about your product, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, process before software. Just get into the shoes of your customers, your potential customers, and really think about what that ideal seamless experience is going to look like. Whether it's looking at a page 3 times or 5 times or clicking on a link, just kind of go through that journey in your own head. What would warrant a tag of being interested in a particular product or area? Okay, so we got a little bit of a longer journey to go on here, but starting at the top, where are we headed?
Yeah. So again, it's going to be kicked off by that tag interested in product 1. That's just an example. Again, you'll build it out for different products or category of products. After a short wait, we're going to send out our first email. As you can see here, it's just a small coupon for product 1. But again, it can be just information. We're then going to go through a wait, send email step about 4 more times. That is completely customizable. We put some really generous wait steps there because we know they're also getting marketing emails potentially. They're also getting transactional emails. So we don't want to overstuff that inbox. But it can definitely be an email a day if you want it to be. You know your marketing and your audience better than us. So we can actually go to the next page, Ernie.
All right. Oh, there we go.
Perfect. As you see here, we get that 3rd email, another wait, 4, another wait, and then that 5th final email. You can build out more if you want. That's just an example number. Then we hold them at the last step for a couple of days, and there's that goal step. That purchase is made. Now, why do we have it there? Because at any point during this strip, if product 1 or whatever your product 1 is purchased, we don't want to keep saying it'd be a great thing to buy. So we take that goal, takes the contact, pulls them all the way to the bottom and lets them leave. That way you're not just, because that would be a great response if you're like, please buy product 1, and someone's like, I already did. So we make sure we're, again, digitally listening, a huge theme of today with your marketing software. Really think about the capabilities it lets you do.
Yeah, capabilities and how you can provide that best experience possible within the capabilities of your software. Just love the fact, we've got different varying durations between these emails. Like you said, you don't want to be the only name in the inbox. You don't want to be hitting them up every 12 hours about this product. And you also don't want to be trying to sell them something you've already sold them. So perfect. Cody, thank you so much for a glimpse into the recipes we've got in the marketplace and showing us exactly how to accomplish the things that Finch had kind of laid out in that last part. Always a pleasure, my friend.
Always a pleasure. And that's that. Automated.
See you next time.
See you next time.
Okay, that just about does it for the content and segments that we have prepared for you for episode 1. Before we wrap things up, just wanted to introduce you to someone or something, rather. So throughout the course of this show, we're going to be talking about how to grow your business by understanding and improving the customer experience. While our knowledge grows, while your business grows, we're going to grow a plant. This plant, right here. It's a good little plant. What's that? Yes, you are very small. But under the right conditions and circumstances, you could grow big. Maybe like that plant. What's that? You're looking forward to growing? We're looking forward to growing you as well, Mr. Plant. All right. Back to it. Before we let you go, just wanted to draw attention to a couple of things here. Episode 2 of Growth Decoded will be airing on April 28th, same time of day, same place, and the topic will be customer experience automation. But before that, on April 22nd, This Just Works, ActiveCampaign's digital anti-conference is airing. We've got the frontman for Iron Maiden. We've got best-selling author Laura Gassner-Otting, and we have the band that broke the internet with the treadmill music video, OK Go. So head on over to activecampaign.com/events/thisjustworks. Sign up for free. You are not going to want to miss it. You can head on over to activecampaign.com/events/growth decoded to sign up for our list there and never miss an episode. Also, some exclusive opportunities for content, ways to get your feedback on how we can improve the show, and much, much more coming there. Again, thank you so much for your time today. We hope that you learned something. I know I certainly did. And that is what we have for you. So until next time, I'll see you. And I'm going to watch this plant grow for a while.